Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And we're here talking about a very important issue, the status of drought conditions throughout the Western United States. We know how key the American Jobs Plan will be to help with that challenge. We also, in the eastern states, have drought conditions and challenges as well, and growth challenges. My district, our region, grew over 20%. It's in the last 10 years, and I represent over 930,000 constituents, more than most members of Congress. So we know our Floridan aquifer is really starting to get tapped out, and it's affecting our springs and our lakes, which also affects wildlife and our quality of life in Central Florida. Certain areas like Tampa Bay have put forward desalination plans, but those haven't been ideal, as now finally utilizing surface water. It's swamp water, so it does take a lot of processing to make sure it's healthy. And we've had some victories already through the Water Resource Development Act, being able to convert some of our flood control water bodies to now reservoirs like Taylor Creek in Osceola County. But not all of our communities are that fortunate. In Polk County, we just lost a $400 million jobs project because we didn't have enough water. It is it's hurting our infrastructure more resilient to the effects of climate change. When it comes to water management, Central Florida communities must be both resilient to drought and deal with water quality concerns like harmful algae blooms that are increasingly common under warmer temperatures, all while contending with increasing demands for the Florida and aquifer that I discussed. How can the American Jobs Plan make Central Florida communities like mine more resilient to drought and climate change impacts?
Thank you so much for the question, Congressman Soto. The American Jobs Plan really does represent a tremendous opportunity to make investments in the type of science we need to better understand what changing climate will bring to places like Florida and all across the country. It's not just drought that we need to keep our eye on, certainly. We've talked about fire today, and also you bring up population changes, which can certainly stress existing infrastructure. So the investments we want to make in science will help us better understand and manage the resources. And we also want to invest in the types of water reuse and recycling programs that can certainly benefit communities all across the country, not just in the West. So we're certainly eager to work with you to see how we can make that a reality.
Thank you, Ms. Klein. And the American Jobs Plan also invests in the modernization of our water systems. Does the plan include a role for federal support of innovative water technologies like real-time monitoring and leak detection?
Absolutely. That's the exact type of investment in science that we are hoping to make. I'm committed to stealing my colleague, Mr. Esquivel's phrase about developing 21st century modern technologies, when we are working with 20th century infrastructure in some cases. And so we want to make the types of investments to help managers on the ground make better decisions on a day-to-day basis on how they use and move water and ensure that there is access to quality water for communities all across the country.
Thank you. And Chairman, we often talk about in this committee and in natural resources, along with energy and commerce, the sort of twin efforts to work on these issues. You'll be happy to know we're working on the quality and clean water issue in that committee today, as we're working on the supply and how it works with our natural resources in this committee. So it's great to see between those two committees with so much overlap in the membership, us taking on these issues together in the American Jobs Plan to make sure we're going to have a 21st century water system that has both ample supply and clean water. And with that, thank you, Chairman. I yield back.
Well, thank you, Mr. Soto. And it's a great point. We have carved up jurisdiction on water in interesting ways among committees and among federal agencies. And it's really important that we have that interaction and that collaboration. And Ms. Klein, I seized on the greatness of Chair Esquivel's phrase as well. I am going to continue to use that 20th century infrastructure trying to meet 21st century challenges. That is a winner.